make your way to the witness stand and then turn to face the court, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes.
Actually, thank you so much. I almost said good morning, good afternoon. Could you tell the members of the jury your name and spell your last name for the record?
My name is Linda Melendez, last name Melendez.
Ms. Melendez, where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Utah State Crime Lab as a forensic firearm examiner and tool work examiner.
Being as how we're in Orlando, Florida, and you just said Utah, could you explain to the jury what it is you do now and how you got to Utah?
I was previously employed with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office from the years of 2018 to 2023. I moved to Utah and was employed by their State Crime Lab as a forensic firearm and tool mark examiner, and that was just a better career and advancement employment opportunity that I decided to take.
So you said you were employed as a crime scene technician in Osceola County?
Yes, that's correct.
And can you just tell the members of the jury what a crime scene technician does, or what you did as a crime scene technician at Osceola for the years you were there on a daily basis?
So to be a forensic technician or crime scene technician, responsibilities include to respond to crime scenes, to photograph, document, process, billing, fingerprints, DNA, and also to identify, preserve, and collect items of evidence. In addition to that, we also process items of evidence in the laboratory for laying fingerprints and DNA as well.
Can you tell the members of the jury a little about your education that prepared you for your role as a crime scene technician and eventually firearms examiner?
So I received my bachelor's degree from the University of Central Florida in criminal justice with a minor in biology, and also received a crime scene investigation certificate. And when I was employed with the Utah State Crime Lab, they sent me to an 11-month training through the Ron Nichols Forensic Consultant Academy for the firearm and tool mark examiner portion of my career.
Did you receive any specialized training from the Osceola County Sheriff's Office in how to do crime scene technician work?
Yes, so as I was employed with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, I completed a 12-week comprehensive training program that consisted of 3 phases. The first phase is observation, so I responded to crime scenes and I observed the investigation from start to finish. The second phase was assistance, so during those few months in assisting, I assisted the lead forensic technician with documenting, collecting evidence, and also observed the case from start to finish and assisted in any way I could. The third phase consisted of me being the lead and being supervised during that phase, so supervised casework. So I would respond to the crime scenes, I will do all the initial responsibilities on the crime scene, and I'd be supervised by the supervisor of the forensics unit and or a trained forensic technician. So when I completed that training and I was signed off, I then investigated crime scenes on my own. In addition to that, I actually took an exam through the International Association of Identification, which is a national recognized organization for forensic professionals. And I completed an exam that awarded me a crime scene analyst certification, which is level 2 out of level 3 within the organization. In addition to that, I've also received more than 200 hours of professional forensic training across various forensic disciplines.
Okay. Were you employed as a crime scene technician for the Osceola County Sheriff's Office back on Sunday night, February 27, 2022?
Yes, that is correct.
And did you respond to the Wawa gas station at 3951 Central Florida Parkway that night in reference to an incident involving deputies and a civilian?
Yes, that is correct.
Did you end up documenting the scene extensively?
Yes,
Write a report that's about 9 pages in length?
that is correct.
So can you tell the members of the jury what time you arrived at the Wawa?
I arrived at the Wawa around 8 p.m.
Right? What was the first thing you did when you arrived on scene?
When I arrived on scene, I met with the detectives on scene, which is Detective Ashley Soviak and Detective Kayla Ruiz. And after meeting with them, we conducted a scene walkthrough.
Once you did a scene walkthrough, did you learn that someone from another agency would also be responding to the scene to investigate?
Yes, that's correct.
And who is that person?
Detective Anthony Kinley, which is employed with the Bureau of Arson, Fire, and Explosives Investigations Department.
Did you eventually begin taking photographs
I did.
and collecting evidence?
Yes.
When you took photographs, was Detective Kamini with you?
Yes.
What was the purpose for the two of you doing that at the same time?
For us to be able to document things cohesively, that way he was able to observe things as I also observed them upon my arrival. So we worked cohesively together. So I was documenting and identifying items of evidence to collect on the crime scene side, but he was also providing his expertise in terms of arson and fire investigations and explosive investigations, which is something we don't usually partake in because it's very rare that we respond to a fire scene or explosive scene. So he was present to provide his expertise.
Remember how many photographs of the scene you ended up taking that night?
Here for my report.
Any objection, Councilman?
Keep it quick, refresh your memory. No problem.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
may, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jim.
232 photographs were taken from the crime scene.
Now, would you agree that there were sort of two main areas of interest at the scene?
Yes.
One area was at or near pumps 13 and 14, where there were some items of evidence collected. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's correct.
And the second area was away from the pumps where there was a dirt bike on the ground.
Yes.
And did you take photographs of both areas of that scene?
Yes, I did.
Did you also do what we'll refer to as a rough sketch of the scene?
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
And it's not marked because it's going to be demonstrative only, but it has been shown to counsel. Is that the demonstrative that you prepared?
Yes.
And does it fairly accurately depict the scene as you found it that night?
Yes, it does.
Permission to publish the demonstrative if it would assist you with your testimony?
It would.
Any objection, Mr. Brower?
No objection, Judge.
You may.
Thank you. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
There's a laser pointer. So, could you orient us to the scene and maybe use the actual Wawa, the indoor portion of the facility, right? You know where you pay for things, and they call it a store. Could you use the store where it is, and then you can go from there?
Yes. So the front of the Wawa would be probably towards the end of this area. This is the pumps. So the pumps had 4 pumping stations to the column. So in my report, they're referred to as columns. So this is column 1. And then the pumps 1 and 2 were at this end, 11 and 12 towards the northwest. And then it continues to column 2, column 3, column 4, with the consistent pattern of those single-digit gas pumps towards the southeast, and then the double-digit gas pumps to the northwest.
Right, but we'll use the diagram alternatively with the photographs. May I approach the witness with what's been marked as State's Exhibit J?
You may.
And show the counsel. Ms. Melendez, that states composite J, the number of photographs. If you could please look at them and tell me when you have a chance to do that. you recognize the images depicted in State's Exhibit J?
I do.
And what you recognize them to be?
Crime scene photographs that I took.
And those crime scene photographs, do they depict an overall and then close-ups of the area of interest near the bike?
Yes.
Are they fair and accurate depictions of the way you saw the scene that evening?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'd ask the court to admit Stage J as the next member of the exhibit.
Mr. Barber, any objection?
No objection, Judge.
All right, so States J will be admitted as State's Exhibit number 10.
Permission to publish State's Exhibit 10?
No.
So if you could just sort of orient us to what we're looking at in that photograph?
So this position would be to the south corner of the mall property, and we're looking towards the north, where this is column 1, column 2, column 3, and so on and so forth.
Now publishing photograph number 2 of States 10. What are we looking at here?
So this squared off extended concrete lot is northwest of pump 13 and 14. This is the bike, fire extinguisher, and some clothing.
And what about in photograph number 4, State's Exhibit?
So this point of view is looking towards the south, southwest end of this direction where the laser pointer is at, direction towards the wall property. These 3 vehicles are marked vehicles that are assigned to the deputy sheriff and also county sheriff's office. And here you can see one of the standing upright fire extinguishers.
Photograph number 5.
So this is a close-up of how I observed the bike to be when I arrived and started documenting the crime scene.
Zoom in just a little bit. And photograph number 6 in particular, if you could talk about the yellow markers.
So after the crime scene was photographically documented as it is upon their arrival, it's solely documented as observed without any manipulation. Once those photos are completed, we'll then start looking to see what items present can be identified as item of evidence. So at that point, I'll lay down markers to identify those items of evidence. That way it's clear for the viewer of the photographs to see, associate the item to a number and its placement on the crime scene.
So I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit. I think we can easily see that 11 is one of the fire extinguishers. What was photographed in item 12 and it's marked with marker number 12?
And for my report to specific descriptions of the items.
Any objection, Councilman?
If it would help refresh my memory.
And would that help refresh your memory as to what the result is?
Yes, ma'am.
You may refer.
So marker 12 was clothing items, and I believe this is an attachment of a vest of some sort that was
All right. Okay. Let's scroll over here. Item 13, if you document, what was that item 13?
Yes, item 13 was a glove.
I believe you took individual photographs of 14. Can you describe what we're seeing there?
A pair of Nike shoes, a Fox brand helmet, and these are peanuts.
We approach the witness, Your Honor, with what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit K. It has been shown to counsel. It's a composite of 7 photographs. Would you please look at each one and tell me if you recognize them? Recognize the photographs of the images depicted in them?
Yes.
And what do you recognize them to be?
Mid-range and close-ups of items of evidence of currency.
And specifically, are those mid-range and close-ups from the evidence that was near the second location, pump 1314?
Correct.
Do they fairly and accurately depict the scene as you saw it that night?
Yes, they do.
And we ask the court to admit State's Exhibit K as the next exhibit.
Mr. Barber, any objection?
No objection.
All right, what was marked for identification as States K will be admitted as States 11. You may publish.
Thank you. If I could trouble you to turn the lights down for this one. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. So, Ms. Melendez, what are we looking at in photograph number 1, States 11?
So we're at the column 2, pumps 13 and 14, facing the north direction. Here's one of the marked card signs of the sheriff. Here are markers 1, markers 2. So this is mark 1, which is going to be on the west end of pump 13. Marker 5 is towards the north end of pump 14. And then marker 2 is northwest of pump 13. And here's a portion of one of the items of evidence that has a different marker associated with it.
Okay, so we're going to photograph number 2 of States 11. Same question.
So now we're looking towards the south. This is pump 13 and 14. Item 1, or marker 1. Marker 2 is here. 6 and 7 are identifying the 2 fire extinguishers.
Photograph number 3 of States Exhibit 11.
So this viewpoint is going to be from the north, facing south. So here we have marker 6 and 7, which are the fire extinguishers. Here's marker 5, which is a Gatorade bottle tilted on its side. 3 and 4 are here between the column and this post. 3 is marking a pair of sunglasses, and 4 is marking a pair of handcuffs.
Photograph number 4 of States 11. Can you describe what you see on the screen?
Yes, so marker 1 is depicting tools and some lug nuts. There is another photograph that depicts another item that was associated with marker 1, which is going to be the dart and the taser wire.
Okay. in this photograph being for you previously described?
Yes, so here are the pair of sunglasses that are associated with marker 3, the handcuffs that were associated with marker 4, and the Gatorade bottle on its side associated with marker 5.
And you mentioned the taser wire.
Yes, so this is the wire and the dart.
Understanding you're not an expert in tasers, when you say the wire and the dart, do you know what that means in terms of a taser based
No,
on
I
your
do not.
experience?
No, I don't.
No, goodness. And this is that one. Photograph 6 of States 11. What do we see in this photograph?
So from this viewpoint, I am standing maybe towards the east end, facing the north, and it's just a close-up photo or a mid-range photo of I am the cell phone that's face up, associated with marker 2. Again, the sunglasses at 3, handcuffs at 4, and then the fire extinguisher at marker 6.
On the next number photograph.
So now we're standing northeast of pump 14, and this is a mid-range photo of marker 5, which is the Gatorade bottle that's tilted on its side.
I believe that's all for that exhibit. It is. May I approach you, Lady Schroner, with States Exhibit L?
You may.
As I'm handing you States Composite L, it's a composite of 3 photographs. You look at them and tell me when you've had a chance to do that. What do you recognize those images to be?
These images were taken of the Chevy manufactured car that was on scene. The car was documented at the request of Detective Ashley Sovia.
And do those images fairly and accurately depict the vehicle as you saw on the scene that evening?
Correct.
And at this time, as a court to admit States Exhibit L as an number exhibit.
Any objections to Robert?
No objection, Your Honor.
What was marked for identification as States L will be admitted as States 12, and you may publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to 3 photographs. Not to make it too complicated, that's the front of the vehicle that was on scene.
Correct.
The side of the vehicle.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you took that to get the tag number and document the vehicle. Is that right?
That's correct.
So, did you become aware at some point during your investigation that a taser was potentially important in this investigation?
Yes.
In fact, I think you mentioned and you showed us the picture of the taser prongs that you took near the gas pumps.
Yes.
Based upon that, did you collect or were you part of the collection of the tasers from several deputies?
Yes, that was correct.
Which deputies did you collect the taser from?
There was a total of 4. Deputy Sheriff McLean, Deputy Sheriff Dominguez, Deputy Sheriff Jesus, and Deputy Sheriff Cadenas.
Did each taser have a unique number that made it easily identifiable?
Yes, they did.
And did you record the number and the deputy assigned to each taser?
Yes.
And did you photograph all of them?
Yes, I did.
Did you eventually, I think you said you collected the taser assigned to Deputy Phoenix, is that right?
That is correct.
From where did you collect it or who gave it to you?
So the taser was collected when they were photographically documented as observed, so whether it was sitting on their patrol car in an evidence box, or if it was kept in their patrol vehicle to keep it safe, it was collected when they were documented.
So does that mean that Kafinas gave you his taser?
That is correct.
And did you document Deputy Kofinas' taser with photographs in the evidence box?
Yes.
And may I approach the witness what's been marked as State's Exhibit M and shown to counsel?
You may.
Composite of 4 photographs. Miss Melendez, please let me know when you have a chance to look at all the photos. Do you recognize those photos?
Yes, I do.
And do you recognize them to be the pictures you took of Deputy Kofinas' taser that you collected in evidence?
That is correct.
Do they fairly and accurately depict the way the taser looked when you collected it on February 27, 2022?
Yes.
And I would ask the court to admit State's Exhibit M as the next number exhibit.
Mr. Barber?
No objection.
What was marked for identification as States M will be admitted as States 13, and you may publish.
Publishing photograph number 1 of States 13. It says taser right there, but you could just sort of describe what you're looking at for the record.
So this is what was collected and identified as Deputy Sheriff Kofinas' taser.
Photograph number 2.
So the top portion is the taser device. Again, I have no formal training. This is just what I observed to be the body of the taser and a pair of cartridges. That was also in the evidence box when I was collecting.
Photograph number 3, you're just picking up the cartridges themselves.
Yes, so this picture is to serve to identify the cartridges and its identifying numbers.
And just a picture of the outside of the box so you know that you're the one that collected it.
Yes, so this is who it was collected from and the date, the time it was collected on that date.
And may I approach the witness who has been marked as State's Exhibit N as in Nancy?
You may.
It's been shown out, counsel. Please. You good, sir?
Yes, thank you. Someone will do it.
Ms. Melendez, do you recognize State's Exhibit N?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize it to be?
The taser that was collected from Deputy Sheriff Kofinas.
And how do you know that that particular box contains the deputy that you, the taser that you collected from Deputy Kofinas?
So on the evidence box is filled out with all the information, agency case number, collected by, which is my name, date and time, and also a description of agency issued taser collected from D/S Kofinas.
Now, when you collected it and put it in that box, did you seal it up with evidence tape?
I did.
And we agree that now it is unsealed.
It is sealed.
It is sealed. All right. At this time, we ask the court to admit State's Exhibit N as the next number exhibit.
Mr. Barber?
No objection, Judge.
Did you say no
Oh,
objection?
no objection, yes.
Okay.
I should have enunciated better.
Okay. What was marked for identification as States N will be admitted as States 14.
Madam Clerk, can I have here the one large exhibit? Thank you. Can I have some scissors back there?
Jack, do you guys
I think that's stuff we can talk about until then.
Okay.
And we have approached the witness who has been marked as State's Exhibit O and shown to counsel.
You may.
And as I'm showing you State's Exhibit O, the writings, you recognize that exhibit?
Yes, I do.
You're right there. And how do you recognize that exhibit?
The packaging for the exhibit shows the agency case number, number, who collected it, which has my name on it, the date and time it was collected, and the description says helmet with glasses.
And did you collect and bag whatever in that bag?
Yes.
And what do you believe to be in the bag?
The helmet with the goggles.
Is it sealed right now?
Yes, it is.
Can the witness open the exhibit with the scissors, please?
Any objection, Mr. Barber?
No objection, Judge.
You may, ma'am.
Go ahead. Just take a peek inside for me if you don't mind. You see what's in there?
Yes, I do.
What's in there?
It's the Fox brand helmet with goggles.
Same one you collected from the scene that night?
Yes.
Appear to be in the same or substantially the same condition?
Yes.
Then at this time, I'd ask the court to admit States O as guilty.
Mr. Barber, any objection?
No objection, Judge.
All right, what was marked for identification as States O will be admitted as States 15. Oh, yes.
Okay, Chair has ruled. Permission to publish States 15?
You may.
One more time. I just looked at it and said it's okay. Simple, perhaps silly question, Ms. Melendez. What color is that helmet?
It appears to be consistent with the red, or shade of red.
Certainly not black.
Correct.
No further questions, please.
Mr. Barber, your cross-examination?
Now, we went through a lot of those photographs. I saw a lot of evidence markers, correct?
Correct.
Like one, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So they have numbers on these.
And you place those down next to where you find pieces of evidence on a crime scene.
Yes, that's correct.
And why do you do that?
To guide the attention of the viewer to what areas are substantial in terms of the crime scene, to kind of help the viewer see a sequential spacing or order of the items of evidence that we're looking at the crime scene. It's basically just to help the investigators, people who are viewing for court. It just kind of clears up the photographs where it's clear that this marker is associated with this item of evidence, and they know the spacing between the item of evidence and perhaps something else.
And you would say that's an important part of your job and your investigation?
Correct.
And that's something that you routinely do as a crime scene technician?
That is correct.
In this particular case, you were not able to locate Deputy Kafinas' taser on the ground at the scene, were you?
That is correct.
And is that because Deputy Kafinas had already retrieved that taser?
I don't know the movement from the taser from when the incident happened to my right.
But it was moved by somebody, you would say, correct?
Correct.
And because of that, you weren't able to put a numbered evidence marker next to it where it would have fallen after the fire, correct?
That is correct.
And based on that, there's no photographs for the jury to view of where exactly that taser was in relation to all the other evidence, correct?
That is correct.
As a crime scene technician, you would like to be able to mark exactly where that taser was, correct?
That would be ideal, but sometimes not always the case.
further questions.
All right, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Miss Melendez. Ms. Soda. Is she excused?
She is excused.
Yes,
Mr.
Judge, she may be
Okay.
excused.
Thank you for coming in. Statement calls next witness.
They call Detective Anthony Kamei.